Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube? Lights look weird. It's two fat guys Pulls, and it is not just Jim. Nate is here, but we're running a little bit of. He's here. He's just his video is having a little bit of trouble, so we're having some technical
life can be easy.
issue. Yeah, technical difficulties. So we're working on that. But while he is working that out, we are going to do a little bit of business, and then we'll get into the show. Because man, personally, I thought it was a fantastic week for comics. I was very impressed with this week's selection. But we'll talk about this week's books here in a minute. Let's talk about our show's sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. They have 2 locations, soon to be 3. Well, actually, they do have 3 locations. They have one in Irving, which is now currently in its soft opening, but it will be having its grand opening in mid-August. So if you're in the DFW area, go check out Collected Comics and Games. They have one in Fort Worth, one in Keller, and now one in Irving. And they're going to have their grand opening here soon. And we were going to try to meet out there, but we are just a bit busy for that. But we're going to promote it on the show, so please go check out our friends, Collected Comics and Games, in their new location in Irving. They also have a really cool website called brainycomics.com, and I'm going to push this button. I don't know if I... Oh, man. Hold on. Before we do this, I got to make sure that... Oh, it worked. Sometimes I don't check and it'll cut to a different monitor. But anyway, they've got a really cool website called brainycomics.com. Ooh, I see movement over with Nate's camera. It is an amazing website where you can get exclusive and variant covers, bundles, bad idea books, new comic books, mystery bags, back issues, graphic novels, games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards. You better be careful, because the minute I hit my gym button, they're gonna cut and they're gonna be seeing you doing their nasty thing on camera.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, BradyComics.com is a great place to do some online comic book shopping or any kind of nerddom shopping, if you will. So head on over to BradyComics.com, do a little bit of shopping, but before you check out, what we'd love for you to do is type in that search bar right there, 2 Fat Guys Pull Us, and this pops up, a 2 Fat Guys Pull Us upgrade and premium upgrade. The premium or the standard upgrade is $8 and the premium is $15. And you're probably going, Jim, what does that get you? Well, if you're new here and you haven't heard my spiel, go over to Brainy Comics on the front page and you got all these variant exclusive covers. You have a potential to get one of these put in your cart and in your deliverables when they get to you in the mail. So we get some cool Spider-Gwen Shadow Clone, some Spider-Man. I know he's got, if you click this exclusive variant tab, you get some pretty sick looking books. I mean, you go to number 2, got some more Spider-Man, some Power Rangers, some DC Comics. There's some cool World Tree exclusives. Got some really neat, awesome stuff that you could potentially get when you put that upgrade in there. But the best thing is the standard upgrade is $8. So you're already getting a really good bargain with one comic exclusive variant cover with that. But if you do the premium for $15, that value is so good. And the reason why is if you look at most of these starting values are at about $15. So you're getting a really great value, and you get 2 if you do the premium. So head on over to BrainyComics.com, do a little bit of shopping, put that upgrade in your basket before you check out. And then when your package does arrive in the mail, make sure to tag us and let us know what you got, what Ron sent you when you ended up putting that upgrade in your basket. Alrighty, there's Nate, and then I'm gonna hit that button. The other thing we gotta talk about, don't look up like you did something guilty.
No, I was looking at comics.
Yeah. The other thing is we have our sub goal giveaway, which is our we're trying to hit 950 subscribers, right? We're pretty close. We're at 882, I believe. And when we hit that 950, we're giving away this 9.8 CBCS graded King in Black number 5 spoiler variant by Ryan Stegman. Freaking awesome. So when we hit 850 subscribers, we're giving this bad boy away. Or, I'm sorry, 950 subscribers, we're giving this bad boy away. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. Also, you know the drill. When we hit 1,000, woo, big boy right here. Amazing Spider-Man number 4, original Sin tie-in, first appearance of Silk. When we hit 1,000, this is the book we're giving away. So let's get it done, guys. I feel like I have I just don't like where my headphones are right now. Ugh, I should wear a hat. Anyway,
Needs more hair.
I'm going bald. So anyway,
Okay, that's not how I meant it.
we're giving away this at 1,000 subscribers. So make sure again to hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about this week's comics, shall we?
Let's do it.
Wow, I was very impressed with this week's comics. I don't know if that's because I didn't read a single Night Terrors book, but I thought it was a really good week. There might have been maybe 1 or 2 books that were just okay, but for the most part, this week was a solid A+ for me. I had a really good time.
Oh.
I had a really good time with my comics. I don't know about you. You're bored.
I'm trying very hard to not be just over everything, every plot line that's going on in Marvel Comics right now.
What?
But I'm essentially over every plot line that's going on in comics right now. So not quite the same for me.
This should be a very diverse and contrasting.
No, because I'm not gonna rant too much because I realize that my feelings are a little bit personal and not very good at reviewing the comics.
Why are they personal? Why are you so upset?
We'll get into it as the books come on. We'll get into it.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Well, hold on. We haven't said hello to chat. What up, chat? Joe, what's going on? Yo, guys. What a great week for papers. I agree. Snow worries. Hope all is smooth. Everyone had a wicked good week. Yo, Patty would have gone up north. Hey, I'm currently in a restaurant for my family's birthday, but I'm checking in. I got 22 books this week, but the Hellfire Gala really got me. Wow. We have some thoughts about that. I'll be very interested to see where the chat lies on this. Patty, it's good here, man. Hope all is good down there. Jaden, what up? What up? See Joe. Yep, these are all y'all talking to each other. Why I don't need to read what y'all are saying to each other, right? I got my books from not grabbing them for a while, so I did some catching up. Love the Batman stuff.
Yeah, Batman's been good.
All right. Well, let's talk about the books. Let's get right into it. We got Amazing Spider-Man issue number 30, ending our little Dr. Octopus storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what's going on. I'm like, dude, there's not enough purple behind me. Hold on, give me a second.
Oh, you ain't got your lights on?
Hold on. And then it's gonna go purple. I was like, man, it's not purple. It's like I don't have no purple behind me. It was like dark. Dark is scaly. Hellfire Gala exceeded my expectations. Merc, we'll get there. I'm very, very excited to talk about it, especially with this bearded fellow here. Anyway, let's get back to Spider-Man. Shut up, ASM. I'm going to miss McGinnis on this book because I know we're going straight back to Romita in the next issue.
So there's the first personal thing.
Okay, and you're upset about it or happy that he's gone?
No, I love Ed McGinnis on this book. It looks so good. It fits the tone perfectly.
Okay,
and it just like I'm butthurt about.
You're bummed. Yeah,
I'm bummed. And it's like we could put a lot of different artists on here, and I'd just be like, fine, whatever, we'll get over. But like, even though it's only one issue of Romita after this, it still was like, man, this was so fun, and I can't trust what we've done so far. Like, I can't trust that we're going to keep having fun like this.
So why? So we're literally getting. Are we getting Romita for just one issue?
Yes. So we have the 92-page $10 special oversized wedding issue.
That's next issue?
That is the next issue.
So I'm not picking that up.
You are picking it up.
No.
I know yes, you will.
No.
You will for sure.
Oh, is it because is it because Daniel Warren Johnson has like a page in it and Peach Mocha has a page in it?
No, actually, now that I'm looking at the credits, I don't think Ramita has very many pages in it. Patrick Gleason, Carrie Andrews, Mark Bagley, David Lopez, Paco Medina, and Amelia Lacio are all listed as artists on this book. So it looks like they're going to be spreading it out.
Yeah, because
Zeb Wells and Dan Slott are co-writing it, so there's going to be a lot that happens in this book that's going to change the status.
The landscape of Marvel Universe.
No, not the whole Marvel Universe, but like what's going on with Spider-Man books. We obviously know Superior Spider-Man is coming back. We know that there are going to be changes with what's going on with the Spider-Man untitled, just plain Spider-Man book that Dan Slott is writing. And we've got Superboy having his own book. All of that's going to get laid out in this issue. You love to pretend like you're going to stop picking things up, and you're a floppies collector. You're not going to have a hole where issue 31 is supposed to be.
Floppies for life. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know why you think you're going to do that.
$10, that's a lot of money.
Plus, there's a couple of badass covers for this one that I don't
do this to me. What's so great? I don't even. It's not even in my poll. Wait, no, that's next week. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's not next week. It's August 9th.
I don't know. Maybe the Miss Marvel one. I'd pick up the Miss Marvel.
It doesn't matter. That's not the point. You're gonna pick it up. I don't know why we're even talking about it. But you're right. For one issue, and then after that, we've got Patrick Gleason for an entire arc. Looks like 3, 4. We have him for the next 4 issues, and then we're back to Ed McGuinness. Looks like John Romita's off this book.
Thank God.
Maybe I'm getting butthurt for nothing. I don't know.
I think you are, but no, I don't think you are. I just think it's frustrating, right? Because like we had this little arc here where it was fun. This was fun, and it just felt like a Spider-Man comic, and there was just like these classic tropes, and then we're gonna get back to this whole like why MJ's a bitch, and you're just like, I don't like this storyline. You know what I mean? Right. I like this classic feel. I like this comic book feel rather than, and I'm trying really hard to not say that this is a Zeb Wells issue, because Zeb Wells' book is good. It's this is still part of his story, like, and I think it should be more like this. Will the contrast of Ramita not being on the book anymore help? Yes. And so maybe what Zeb Wells is trying to achieve will be broadcasted better, right? I find it interesting. What I find interesting about this book right now is that there are aspects of it that I really like, and then there's some things that I'm just not interested in. But it's very intriguing to me to get the perspective of the more seasoned comic book readers and what they think about this run, and how they're just like, it's ass, And so it's interesting that it came up during this little mini arc, right? Which I feel like is more traditional and more in line with a classic Spider-Man comic. So I find it funny that some people are upset about the direction of the book. That being said, put that aside. This was super fun. I really enjoyed Spider-Man wearing the old arms and it influencing like how he acted and how he spoke. And I don't know. I felt like I really resonated with the Doc Ock character. I thought it fit. I thought it was a fun little dynamic. I loved his new arms. And even though it was a very like, I've got a force field, I was happy that Norman was not turned into the Goblin. I thought, even though it was kind of cliche of how it turned out, I enjoyed it. It happened, and in my mind I was like, oh, I guess I should have saw that coming, right? But I wasn't upset about it. So overall, I thought this little mini storyline was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope that after we conclude and get rid of and do whatever with the previous storyline, that we move Spider-Man comics into more of storylines like this. I hope.
I agree.
So, Amazing Spider-Man 30.
Cool. A lot more fun than we've been having before that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. I'm cool with the tag team on the art for this run. I wish it wasn't Junior on this run. I'm sorry, Junior on the flip side, but for a comic that puts out double content a month, it's still an average for other books that is a monthly. No, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I thought Gleason...
but Gleason and McGinnis are a better tag team than one.
Agreed. I thought Gleason is doing the upcoming run with Junior just doing the covers. I may be mistaken.
Nope, you're exactly right.
I mean, just cut it loose. Just get him off the covers too. Like, sorry, that's weird. ASM is a comedy book now, and that's how I read it. I didn't start off liking it, but that he and Blacklight got together. Peter's attitude has improved, and glad his book reflects that. My attitude would improve if he got Black Hat. Yeah. No, I'm ready for Black Hat to make an appearance back into it. All right, let's move on to The Avengers, issue number 3 from McKay and Via, the City Slayers. I want your perspective on this book first before I say anything.
Yeah, you were like, yo, this book was good, and I was like, what happened? It didn't feel like there was a lot that went on in this book.
Which I would agree with you.
So it didn't really do much for me.
Okay.
This was the second book I read. Hulk first. This is the second book I read, and I read it on Wednesday. And yeah, I don't have no idea what happens in this book.
Okay.
I can't remember anything.
Oh, you can't remember anything.
There's like a bunch, like, I'm just saying it was forgettable. There was like a bunch of different events happening at once all over the world, and each person had to go like take care of their own thing.
So okay, so the way I took it is that you've got this new group of enemies that essentially conquer cities by themselves, but they conquer them in much different ways. Like one raises the dead, one makes the followers of the cities worship him, the other one just some meticulous and just deconstructing the city. So the Avengers have to calculate. They can't just go in guns blazing, right? And that's proven by T'Challa. He's like, yo, I get that you want to just like go guns blazing, but like we have to be tactical. We need to have some kind of reconnaissance on what's going on right now. We have like the most, the smartest supercomputer in our team right now. Let him run analysis, and we've got the smartest guy to run that. So I found the team dynamic in this book to be very interesting and fun, and I thought the best part of it when it came to the team figuring out what they were going to do was when there was no mention of what T'Challa and Captain America were going to do, and then at the end of the book they're on the spaceship that these new enemies came, and they're going to be the ones to take down, from the behind the enemy lines, basically, which I thought was really cool. I don't know. I enjoyed it because we're setting up this pretty big event, Avengers event. I think for me, the only criticism I would have from my new comic book day video was that I was hoping that issue 3 would settle and we would get into the main storyline of what this book is going to be about, right? Yeah. And technically, this isn't it. We're still setting up, but we're setting up the arc, essentially, right? Like the first 2 books, we were still kind of figuring out what this team was, and now we're essentially getting the team actually performing, right? Like, it's in its genesis, right? Still, like, they're still trying to figure out the ebbs and flows, and they're splitting up because they have to, because there's a multiple threat event going on around the world. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I wanted, but I enjoyed it because it felt like, those pillars that we talk about our books. Like, if it feels like a movie, if it ends too quickly and you're still wanting to know what's going to happen next, I find it is a plus for me. And for me personally, that's what the book did. I didn't have that, like, wait, what's going on? I was like, oh, I see what we're doing here. Like, we're literally setting up essentially 5 issues, right? Because we have 5 different sets of heroes. So, like, I would assume, like, the first issue, we're going to be dealing with Iron Man. Like, we're going to hit, so it's going to be like an Iron Man Avengers book, a Vision. Like, that's my assumption. Like, we're going to hit each city in each issue, and then the last book in the arc will be a culmination of all of them coming together and defeating the enemy, I would assume. Yeah. What I find very interesting, again, kind of like we were talking about with ASM, the thing that blows my mind is, again, the seasoned reader apparently were complaining about the artwork in this book. And
Oh, that's a terrible take.
I agree. And I'm sitting there going like, the artwork was but made a majority of this book. I think Via killed it in this book. I thought the artwork and the coloring, the whole dynamic, the flow of how the artwork worked with the writing, 100% phenomenal. I'm not saying this is my pick of the week, but I genuinely liked issue 3. There was no continuing slump. There has been no slump for Avengers, in my opinion.
No, I wouldn't say there has been a slump so far. I would not call this a slump issue. We're still, I mean, we're still really building what we're going to do here. And I think with an Avengers book, you kind of have to do that. I think if we're giving someone a new Avengers run, like, we got to have like 20 to 30 issues. And so like it's going to take 6 easily to get that first arc in and really kind of set the tone. I think, and here's example 2 of why I'm saying my personal stuff is getting in the way. I've in the background been reading very recently, been trying to trudge through Hickman's Avengers run, and I am personally, this obviously has nothing to do with what Jed McKay is doing, but I am just kind of burnt out on the out of nowhere suddenly appears these godlike bad guys that, oh, there's no way we're ever going to defeat them. Look how amazingly powerful they are. And instantly they're taking over worlds and cities, and it's just doom and boom. And then, oh, okay, we beat them in 4 issues. And I'm a little fatigued by that, and it feels like that's what's happening here. Now, just because I was reading a comic book that's over 10 years old at the same time I'm reading this shouldn't affect it. But for me, I think this issue lost its power because of that.
Oh, okay, I see.
That's another example why I'm saying my personal stuff's kind of probably getting in the way.
Yeah, and that's all good. I think if I were to compare this issue to the entirety of Jason Aaron's run, I didn't get that sense of like, oh god. No, it was more of like cooler heads prevail amongst the team outside of Carol's outburst. Like, I find it very, and I think Joe says it perfectly. I wonder why there's doubt on Captain Marvel's leadership already. If it wasn't for the team, Captain Marvel would send the team out blind. Shows McKay has plans for Carol. Like, I was surprised at that. Like, she wasn't as calculated. And T'Challa was kind of like, yo, hold up. But that's the council, right? That's the council she's assembled. I feel like she can afford that because she put them in place. She put them in place to do that very job because, I think her instinct at the moment as the new leader of the Avengers is to go guns blazing because that's Captain Marvel. She just kind of does her thing and then adapts as the situation evolves. Whereas I don't think the other team members can afford that luxury. They can't. They're not indestructible outside of maybe Thor. Right. They're human. They've got to play. I don't know. I liked it. I really like these new enemies. I think the character designs are really fucking cool. I think, and this might be this is most definitely my bias kind of seeping through, but I find when DC unveils like these kind of like one-off new villains, they just seem kind of clunky and just, I don't want to say gimmicky, but very close to that. Whereas when Marvel does it, I feel like Marvel does a really good, I mean, not to say that they don't have those times or that kind of problem happens, but I do,
and I think we had a book this week that was a little clunky.
Okay, well, with this issue, it wasn't. They were not clunky. They were really cool. I thought it was really fun, so I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to issue 4.
Yeah, same.
All right. Cosmic Ghost Rider number 5. This is the wrap up. Just relax. Okay, this is the wrap up of this little run from Stephanie Phillips. I think I wanted it to be longer, and this is one of those books again that kind of does that thing that we were talking about, where Marvel books just kind of abruptly end, and so like their ending is like and we're done, right? And we kind of got that in this issue. Was the ending satisfying though? I thought it was fun. We essentially get Frank arguing with himself and essentially saying like, look, we all got to come back together or we're all going to die because we're not one being like we're supposed to be. So, I find that I found that part cool, but it just felt rushed. And so at the end of it, this new character that he's has been traveling with him, kind of saw it coming from a mile away. Like essentially, what happens is he has to he gets all of the versions of himself into one ship, and then he flies into the black hole and blows up the black hole to reassemble himself. But this girl who's been with him the entire time is in the explosion with him. And so she gets saved at the end of the book, but then at the end of the book, it's kind of like, oh, we've got a new cosmic Ghost Rider, and it's a girl, and it's her, right? So that's what gets established in this book, is that we have a new cosmic Ghost Rider, and it's her. It's this girl. Am I excited about it? About 50-50 on it. I mean, I like that we have a sense of continuation with the idea of cosmic Ghost Rider, but it's not Frank. And so I just don't, I'm going to sound so like, I want my comics to be the way, that's how I'm kind of coming across. But, like with Frank, he's so twisted, and he's seen some shit, and he's, I mean, you can't be the Punisher, right? And then the cosmic, then a Ghost Rider, and then on top of that, the Herald of Galactus. Like, that fucks with your brain. And so to have a new version of the character, I was just like, well, we don't really know much about her. Like, there's not a lot of seasoned history behind her, so there's a little bit of hesitancy there. But also, I'm like, okay, but who knows? She might be fun. She might have a lot of good, a good time in a sandbox with another writer. So who knows?
Right.
But overall, I enjoyed it. I want more Cosmic Ghost Rider. So we'll see what Marvel does with it. We'll see if it just kind of goes away, or if it comes back.
I think it's too popular of a character to leave on the shelf too long.
I agree. Let's see here. Who was your favorite new villain out of the bunch in the Avengers book? Have I missed the Gala rant? No, we have not, last. That's coming. It's towards the end. Let's see here. I got some things to critique. You won't hear a rant from me on the Gala. It's my pick of the week and month. Interesting, Joe. Calvin, it's Joe's pick of the week. Average for me. It felt really, really rushed. Okay, we'll get to it. But anyway, Cosmic Ghost Rider, super fun. Deadpool issue number 9. I just never know what to expect with this book. I just never know. Like, it surprises me every time it comes up, right? Yeah. And this was a really fun issue, and this concept of the antler dude being in charge of the assassin group is actually a mantle. It's an idea, and I'm rushing, but apparently, Deadpool's new girlfriend or relationship, situationship, they have become the new head of the mercenary group. I don't know. Like, I don't know about you, but this was fun. I just think that lack of knowing what's going to happen in the book is probably the best part of it. I think my observation about Deadpool is who's owning Deadpool right now, right? I mean, I think it would be Wong, right? But then Deadpool's going to be in 2 other books in the fall.
Well, I don't know. I was going to tell you, Merck's already told you, but the next issue is the last issue, right?
It's the final issue. Yes, I know. And that's what I'm saying is like, he's being moved around in so many different directions that I can't see how this book continues, right? Because he's going to be an Uncanny X-Men. He's on X-Force. Like, his comedic relief is spread. Am I frustrated that the book is ending? Yes, but I'm sure Wong will stick the landing. I have no doubt that we will not get a rushed issue here. And it would be awesome if we get and don't worry, he's coming back later. You know what I mean? And I know, like, Rob Liefeld's got his, version of the character, his version, his Deadpool having his own book. I'm not going to read that because I'm not a Rob Liefeld fan. I know some of you are, and that's cool. But I'm digging this new direction that Poole has. But I'm in love with this book. It's super fun.
It is. It's majorly disappointing that it's ending. I didn't realize until we got the to be concluded part at the end, and I was like, wait, what? And then I went and looked up issue 10 on Geek. And yeah, there it is, final issue. So
yep.
I I don't think I have the energy to go into a full Nathan rant on it. But like, there's just whatever Marvel uses for their metrics on whether a book should be going or canceled or not,
Right.
should be shoved up that person's anus and like violently removed because
Technical
it's
terms.
It's utter bullshit. This is a
Good.
great book. People
Yeah.
like this book. I honestly don't give a shit if it sells or not. This is something that adds value to the Marvel line. And just because it's not doing like Batman numbers or something, I mean, it's Deadpool. Like, it can't be doing that bad. And I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous that a book that is done this well, that at least from what I have seen, no one is going, God, this Deadpool run is awful. Like,
No.
it's just, it stinks. Surely there are some people that are like, you know, I have seen a couple of people like, well, I don't really like Alyssa Long, but you know, it's still a funny book, you know, just like shit like that.
Yeah.
But it really frustrates me.
No, and I think your frustration is valid because like it just seems like Deadpool hasn't been able to hold steady on his own ongoing.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's Jerry Duggan was the last one in like 2015, right, or 2014 that had a legit run on Deadpool that lasted. Who was the last? Who had a short run before this? Is it Kelly Thompson?
I thought it was Stephanie Phillips. Maybe it was Kelly Thompson.
I think
it was Kelly Thompson.
and she created Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff is dope. He's a cool Marvel Snap card. I've really utilized him a lot lately with my Evil Legion deck. It's great. Anyway, it's good. Let's see here. We're talking about Gala. We'll get to that. Everybody's talking about Gala. Well, I should have put that at the front of the book, at the front of the show. All right, Hellcat issue number 5, another book that has ended, and I'm like, the fuck? We say it every time this book comes up. If you're not reading Hellcat, and this is the last issue with Cantwell, you're really missing out. This was a really good book. Now I'm debating.
Oh. There will be no question about what my pick of the week is, so it won't be lame for everybody.
Yeah, no, I know what it is. I know what your pick of the week is. That's not even a joke. I can't do it. But this is for mini of the year. This is my mini series of the year. I think this mini was fantastic. I think Cantwell's definitely stuck the landing. The psychological examination of Patty in this book was stellar. The artwork from Linz was just need more from this person. And I want more Hellcat. I think Hellcat needs. I think we need more. We need more Hellcat. I think that's definitely been proven. Hopefully, maybe Rainbow Rowell will just make her a regular on Sensational She-Hulk. I really cross your fingers. But I would like.
Bit of Jennifer show up in this issue, right?
Yeah, she did. She's there. She's there to make sure that her friend's okay. But overall, and I think the best outside of the just character examination of Hellcat, I think the really big thing that shined in this issue, in this series, was Sleepwalker. And just making people, I think, at least for me, making me want to know more. Would you like to know more? That was, I think that was the biggest accomplishment outside of the main character development and examination of Patty. I think Sleepwalker being in this book was just a no-brainer awesomeness.
If you had to choose one thing that made this book more, would you say this is more? I already know what your answer is going to be. Never mind.
Why are you asking?
Is this more Cantwell's book or is this more Lynn's book?
I think it's Cantwell.
That's not fair, and that's not fair because of what Cantwell's done. But I see where you're going. I have a really strong attachment to Lynn's style in this book, and I just think that this book hit an extra level with his art on there. Especially if you want a case in point for that, it's the first 4 pages of this book. Like what he does, the first 4 pages of this book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, this whole book is. Most of it is very non-traditional paneling, and it works out so well. And the whole team did well. Like the letterer did really well on keeping the flow. But like at no point were you looking at the pages like, "Fuck, where am I supposed to be reading next?" but it's very non-traditional, very like panels being torn apart and not non-linear boxes and stuff.
Right.
And I don't know. I was super impressed with that part of this book. So
No, and I think we run into that kind of issue too with DC, where it doesn't. It's the opposite, where like things are so disconjointed and on purpose, and you're like, I'm lost, and I'm out of the book. But I do agree. You know, I think as for the mini, I think you may be very well right that it might be more Lynn's book than Cantwell. It definitely sets the tone, because I mean, if Ramita was on this book, we'd be like, oh, it's ass, you know, like. But this was good. It was really
It'd be
good.
hard to get through.
Steven says, I need more Hellcat in the future. Since you guys like Hellcat and She-Hulk, I would suggest Hallows Eve. I think that book is surprisingly just as good. Interesting. I agree, John. Eve's book is a banger. Oh, maybe we're missing out. Why don't you all tell us on New Comic Book Day?
Okay, and she's the center of the Amazing Spider-Man annual that comes out next week, too.
Interesting. All right, let's talk about Incredible Hulk issue number 2 from Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein. Yo, like Robbie, I think, you know, Robbie said it this week that he feels like this is probably one of the best books Philip Kennedy Johnson has written.
Okay, that
and look, I'm not saying I said. I'm not saying I said it. I'm just saying Robbie said it. Okay,
you can't say that after 2 issues, no matter how many good the 2 issues are. And I'm a literal Philip Kennedy Johnson homer.
Yeah, dude.
This does not touch.
I mean, if Philip Kennedy Johnson walked into your house right now and was like, "Get in the closet," and we're gonna, and you'd be like, "Yes,
where
sir."
do you think I'd be? I wouldn't
Yes,
have
sir.
been there.
Yes,
I
sir.
would have been in full cadet uniform and everything. Come play your trumpet, sir.
Anyway, Incredible Hulk. I don't know. When I heard him say that, I wasn't immediately like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, you know what? I'd consider it. And the only reason why I would is because, like, 2 issues in, it feels flawless. I haven't read it where I'm like, I don't know. I think that doesn't work. Like, we are full on 100% in a direction, and I'm here for it. And I don't know. I have no idea where we're going. And I think that's admirable. And yes, Nick Klein, God mode, right? But I just feel like it's almost like it's been supercharged. It's like the other way around, right? Like with the most recent book, Cantwell.
God damn it, Joe.
What do you say?
He's always got to argue with me. I love it.
Well, yeah, that's why he's here. With the other book, it was... What am I trying to say? With the other book, was it Cantwell supercharging Lynn, or was it Lynn supercharging Cantwell?
Wait, say that again?
With Hellcat, it's Cantwell supercharging Lynn, and that's why the book is badass?
No, I think it's Lynn supercharging
Cantwell. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something controversial here. Uh-huh. It almost feels like...
You say this is Nick Klein's book first?
No, I think it's Philip Kennedy Johnson's book.
Yeah. No,
and I'm like, and that's, I think there might be some people that might disagree with that because it's fucking Nick Klein. But I just think Philip Kennedy Johnson is just hitting it right now. Like, we're 2 issues in and I'm like, you know, you're mentioning the Green Door. We're dealing with monsters. We've got classic Hulk here. Like, it just feels like he's been writing this. Like, this didn't feel like an issue 2. Does that make sense? Like, it just felt like this is where we were supposed to be. And I don't know if that's because of what happened to Hulk in the previous run and with the disjointedness and with Donnie jumping off the book and it just not, you know, it being, I hate to say it, half-assed, you know, quite literally, because of circumstances. And we can't blame it. We can't be mad at anybody for that. But this feels like we've been here for a while in a good way, and we're only 2 issues in. I'm digging the shit out of it. And then on top of that, like we said, it's Nick Klein, and he's just dude's god tier. He is. I mean, no, everybody knew that. But
how long do we get him on this book, though?
Yeah,
you saw
right.
How inconsistent he was on the 4 book. Now, I'm not saying how inconsistent his work was. I don't know why he wasn't on the book as much as he was. But
right,
he was not. I mean, of the 36 issues in that run, I think he was maybe on 15. yet his name is like all over that
On the
book. So how long do we really?
I don't know. Knock on wood.
Oh, we already get him off on the 4th issue. So.
God damn it. All right, well there you go. Anyway, I thought this was fun. I'm really liking the direction of the book. I think Philip Kennedy. Well, who's replacing him for that?
I don't. Someone I don't know. Travel Foreman. Someone with I've not known, but they've got a decent amount of stuff.
Okay.
Decent amount of stuff, but I don't know.
I just want to know where. Oh, you're talking about. Okay, Last is. I'm gonna have to go back and read everything that Last is talking about because he's ready.
I know, but by the way, Joe, I'm not saying you can't have a good story in 2 issues. I was just saying you can't say it rivals his best run after 2 issues. But I will also say the amount of content and the amount of words and the amount of story we got in 2 issues in the 70s, very different than what we get in 2 issues in the 2020s.
Nate,
Days of Future Past would take you, those 2 issues would take you an hour to read.
I gotta take a potty break. Can you?
Oh my God!
Can you carry the show?
Yeah. What are we doing next? Or you want me to just Hulk it up?
Yeah, Hulk it up.
Okay, go poo poo.
Thanks.
All right. It was lasted 4 years to set up. John, I agree. I hope this Hulk run is long because I'm kind of over so many of these short runs or things that we feel like they're building up, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, issue 12, issue 14, we're done. And I'm like, what? Let's just do it. Let's just get something done. I have not gotten any farther in my Hickman Avengers run. I got yelled at by Lee at the shop to start reading Sandman right away. So I picked up this first volume of Sandman, and I'm about halfway through it. So that's been my extracurricular comic reading. I've got some novels, but that's been my extracurricular comic reading. Joe says, I don't think Nick Klein did the whole book. He is credited for half. I think, yeah, I agree. That's hard. So I'm gonna have to pay attention when Jim talks about the Iron Man book. I missed that one. So there are just a couple of books this week that I missed out on, which sucks. What's a Blight Sword? Blight Sword we talked about during you might have missed it because that was like Knights of X stuff, right? Ten of Swords. It was in Teenie Howard's book. I don't whichever one it was, her first, second, or third one. We'll get more into it because I agree. I highly miss the Bronze Age pacing. I feel like they can bring that back even with cutting down the excessive dialogue. I agree, Heroic. I agree a lot. I think that where we are at now, I think probably Bronze Age was probably maybe just a tad too dense, but I certainly think where we're at now is, especially as someone who was into novels first, I feel like the way that I can breeze through a comic maybe is a little bit disappointing compared to when I did my Uncanny run. Now, Chris Claremont can get that purple prose going pretty hard, so not always exactly what you're looking for, but I like it. Let's see.
What?
What? Purple
I've
prose?
never gotten that thing on my camera.
Oh. Calvin, you are certainly not a bad comics fan for having because I have been pretty turned off by it. The only reason, now that I'm reading it, I'm enjoying it. But the only reason why I bent to finally reading it is because I'm a Neil Gaiman. I love his prose work. I love his novels. I've read almost everything that he's written, and he's in my like top 20 pantheon. So I was like, man, this is kind of what put him on the map. I feel like I have to read it. Stefan, Man Thing is coming on book 4. I'm very interested in that. I love the little bit of horror side of Marvel that we haven't explored too much. We get a little bit of that with Moon Knight, but I'm hoping that Philip Kennedy Johnson does a lot more of that in it seems like maybe we're getting a little with Man Thing.
Erg. Give me a sec.
You having camera issues?
Yeah, my camera's like, hey, by the way, I'm hot. I'm like, you've never, ever done this before. So let's see here. Top cam. We're going to do a little bit of full face cam, maybe? No, not that.
Oh, no.
Let's see.
See it.
You didn't see it?
I mean, I wasn't looking that hard, so maybe I didn't see it. They didn't.
Only 4. See if that works.
Guys, quit. You're gonna talk. You're gonna talk me out of finishing Sandman.
What? What are they?
Last asked me where I was at in my Hickman Avengers run. I said I hadn't touched it because Lee kept telling me to read Sandman over and over again. Missy wants me to watch the show with her, and so I was just like, fine, I got to read it before I go. And so I finally started reading it, and now they're telling me that it's
Whoa.
Whoa!
Whoa!
You're Spider-Man hanging from the ceiling.
I'm Spider-Man.
Calvin said try turning it off and then back on again.
I've been doing that, and it's just like, I'm too hot.
Oh. Are you on a different camera?
Whoa! Yeah, hold on. Oh my god. This is a live show. Professionals. Oh!
We're professionals. 100%.
Hold on. Transform. This is fun. Okay, no, don't. Oh my god. This is bonkers. Okay, and then we go like this. Transform.
Try the Contra code.
Horizontal. Voila!
I was going to tell you to move on to the next book and I could start, but I didn't read that book.
You didn't read Iron Man?
Listen, some things fell by the wayside. It was the one book that fell by the wayside.
You didn't read Iron Man?
I forgot to pick it up, and so I didn't realize that I didn't have it until we were going through this list before the show, and I was like, damn it. Who
forgets to pick up Iron Man?
I mean, of the books on this list, it's not the priority. I would say there's only one priority list.
It's not the priority.
Sorry. Especially because it was like Hell Gala tie-in or Hellfire Gala tie-in.
Was it? Did it say that? I don't remember it saying that.
Maybe it says it just online. It says it somewhere, and that's enough because I was just like,
and that's enough.
It says it on League that it's an official Hellfire Gala tie. And I was just
I wouldn't agree with that assessment, but whatever.
Well, review the book for me and tell me.
Well, let me hit the button. Jeez. Okay, so sorry, I had to do some on the fly. It's until that camera pulls down. Iron Man. I enjoyed it. We have Tony essentially, he's stuck between a rock and a sentinel. And he essentially can't do what he wants to do, which is just blast Fei Long and take over the company. But what we get is him essentially being told by his attorney, She-Hulk, that he has to hand over all Tony Stark tech, including his Iron Man suits, because Fei Long technically owns them. And when he gets into this little tussle, Kingpin and Emma Frost, and I cannot remember who, there's somebody else, there's another mutant with them, that show up after the gala and seeking refuge at Tony's place. And then they're attacked by an Iron Man Sentinel, and Iron Man does, Tony does what he does, man. He charms, and he and Emma end up like trying to fight off the Sentinel, and he's like, "No, go! I'll fight. I will do my thing. No." And so, excuse me. She tries to escape, and then there's this point where Tony gets like, this is gonna sound horrible, he gets double fisted. Boing. He's in the air, and these two Sentinels
exactly the way you said it.
Yep. He's in the middle of the air, and two Sentinels punch, and just like smush him. And so he's gonna die essentially.
Of course, Tony's always about to die.
Yeah, and so Emma comes and she's like, "No, you stupid klutz!" And she tries to save him. and she gets like a mutant inhibitor, like a X gene inhibitor, so she can't use her powers, and so she's about to get captured. And then Tony basically surrenders, and when he surrenders, he does like a double switcheroo, and essentially the Iron Man suit comes off of him when he surrenders, and it goes around Emma, and she shoots off and escapes. And so I think Tony gets captured. And I don't know, like the tension and the dynamic between Emma and Tony, again, I'm sure it would have cringed and you would have hated it and you would have been like, I rolled it. But I liked it. I liked this, Gary Jerry's building to the wedding of Emma Frost and Tony Stark. And, I think we're all under this assumption that it's obviously a power dynamic, right? It's a play to keep the mutants alive, right? But I think Gary Jerry, in my opinion, has done a really good job of creating this tension between, and I'm sure it's existed prior in other runs. I'm sure that, I'm not that seasoned. But whatever he's doing between the two characters, from what we've gotten, whether it's within X-Men or in the Iron Man book, I think Gary has done a really good job of setting up these two characters in a tension-filled relationship. Whether that is romantic or not, it remains to be seen. But the slice of life aspect that the characters have really shined in this issue. Like, when you were reading it, it felt genuine. It didn't feel like, wait, where did this come from? We haven't, this has never been mentioned. Yet in the X-Men books and in Immortal, there has been groundwork laid so that the interaction they had in this issue felt genuine. And so it had me pumped for whatever this marriage between Tony and Emma is going to be. I find it interesting. And I think I said it in the new comic book day video. I find it interesting that Gary Jerry is writing the main X-Men book, but you would assume that he's not the lead, right? He's not. It feels like it's Karen Gillan's show. It's like he's kind of like the unofficial head of X. But
I would say it hasn't felt like that since Judgment Day, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying now is it kind of feels like Gary Jerry's taking the reins. It kind of feels like he's, did he write the Gala book?
Yeah.
Okay. I really feel like Gary Jerry is starting to find, and last I'm sure you're gonna be like, this fucking sucks.
I'm about to as well.
I'm fine. That's fine. You rip me. I don't rip me. Anyway, me personally, it feels like Gary Jerry is starting to turn the tide in more of his direction of what he wants to tell in the X line. And it's got me excited personally. I'm digging it. And I thought I didn't, after reading the books that I read this week, I'm actually excited for X-Men comics. I'm sorry. I am. So I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Make sure this is really clear.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Let's get over here. Late, but here now, and we're not even out of Marvel books yet. Awesome. We don't have any DC books.
We don't.
We don't have any...
I read
we
have...
Didn't Tony get married to Hellcat like 10 issues ago? No, that weren't they going to, but then they called
we corrected it down. Proposed, but she declined.
So am I guessing because it's mentioned it in this book, but I think Tony has to leave the Avengers or switch to a defensive coordinator role. I think he has to. Well, I think we already saw it in the book, in the Avengers book, which we didn't mention. He's in his suit that he built. That's not officially a Tony, like a Stark Industries suit. He has to, if he's gonna have a suit, it has to be something that's in a completely new suit that wasn't built with Stark Industry tech. So, bada bing. Yeah. But that would be cool. I think I would agree with that assessment. Let's see. Tony Emma getting married is decent direction. I wish it came at a stronger time for mutants and X-Men books. A child of Emma and Tony would be insane. Dude, I didn't even think of that. Shut up, Nate. Stop with the lip. Stop it. I kind of like that idea. I really do. What, Nate?
Nothing. I'm just waiting for.
No, you're just all poo poo and pee pee and. I think that's a really.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You think it's good? I'm just
not.
Stefan said I'm thinking about jumping on the Iron Man with all the X-Men cameos. I would suggest that you do. The book is strong enough to carry without the X-Men cameos, but if you're reading X-Men comics, then it's just kind of doubly worth it. Don't take me not reading this book as an indication I don't like it. I forgot to buy it. It wasn't in my pile. I forgot it.
I forgot to buy it in my pants. We were in the store together, weren't we?
Yeah, but you
did it on purpose.
Oh yeah, totally. Hate it. Hate this book and everyone that reads it.
Well, Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's what you're putting words in my mouth. Might as well.
I'm not putting anything in your mouth. Anyway.
Iron Man book is more of an X-Men book than Deadpool. I agree. Deadpool gets the damn X title and the font page and gets listed in the back of the X books when it should be Iron Man that's back there, at least these past couple issues and a few more later after this.
John, stop it. I want Tony and Emma, Peter, and Felicia to go on a double date. Fuck, that'd be dope. With She-Hulk being the fifth wheel. Oh! And then Patty walks in and goes, the fuck? Right? Like, I'm your Hellcat, bitch. Oh man. Tony and Emma having a child helps build lore in the X-Men and New Era, like it. It helps expand abilities, build relationships between humans and mutants, and it also helps balance the tide against Orcus. Dude, go write for Marvel. Definitely don't want them to have a kid. I thought that'd be cool. That'd be scary. Oh!
That's Chips. Pick of the week.
Duh. Wow, I'm so surprised. That's it. All right. Also innovate. No. Yeah, the reboot. Blonde Tony Jr.
Oh yeah. See, that's awful.
She-Hulk issue number 15. Thank God they let us know that Sensational is coming, because if it ended like this, which was fantastic, it was great. But if we had just gotten for now, because that's basically how the book ended, is like it ended and it was like for now, I would have been like, but when? And now we don't have to worry about but when.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it when it was announced that Sensational was coming out. I think Rainbow Rowell and the team are just, it's good. And the comic feels genuine. I think you said it too, Nate. Like, you have a comic that has all these different aspects that most Marvel comics don't have right now. You've got the slice of life aspect, you've got the regular life, you've got the lawyer, you got the superhero, you've got the dating, you've got the love, all of it, right? It is the complete package when it comes to a comic book right now for Marvel. And there's nothing like it right now in the line whatsoever. I think there's little glimmers and blips here and there with certain books, but this thing through and through is the complete storyline. And I just can't wait for it to continue and for it to flourish under the Sensational name. Am I frustrated that we're getting a renumber? 100%. But that has I don't think that has anything to do with Rowell. I think it has everything to do with Marvel saying, we need to reboot. We need a new number one. Whatever.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So Joe says, talk about rushed. This book wrote the definition of a fart ending. To which Disciple says, I mean, they didn't really need to make a definitive ending because the same team is writing this run.
Right.
So my question is, should the creative team written a proper ending to this book as if they weren't the next creators picking up the same storylines in April or August? Do they owe it to the readers that maybe aren't going to pick up a new number one to actually resolve the storylines, or do you
see
think
the problem? I see what you're saying. I think the problem is that in Rainbow's mind, in the creative team's mind, this arc isn't over.
Yeah,
it's not over. It's continuing in Sensational. Does that make sense? No. And again, I don't put it on the creative team. I put it on Cebulski and Marvel. I put it on them for saying, because they did the same thing with Daredevil. They did the same exact thing with Daredevil, where we got a new number 1, but the ending over there wasn't over, and it just continued right on into what we're reading now.
Yeah.
I just don't, and my other argument would be, or my answer to that argument would be, fuck, I lost it. What was it again? You were saying, do they
it's for a proper ending?
Proper ending, because some of the readers may not jump over to sensational. Then I don't think, and this is kind of a shitty thing to say, but I think if anyone that's like, no, I'm not reading sensational because they didn't end it properly in issue 15, so I'm not going to read it. I think that's not somebody that is really truly reading the book for the content. I think that argument is flawed. If you're liking it, then you're going to want to go pick up sensational because you're that much connected to it that you're going to go, like, you're going to do your research, you're going to do your due diligence and find it on Twitter or CBR that sensational number 1 is coming out in October, and it's essentially continuing the same story. It's only got the stupid rename and renumbering because Marvel's dumb.
Well, because Marvel has a marketing team that tells them, and this is the perfect and actual reason Dirk hits it right here, is that Marvel needs to make these into trade paperbacks and be able to sell them correctly. And Marvel knows that there's a massive drop in orders, or copies ordered, copies purchased between volumes 3 and volume 4. It seems that I was reading an article about that like 3 weeks ago, that some reason people, once he gets to volume 4, just like, fuck it, I'm off. And so when you renumber like this, you get to restart a new volume 1 on your trade paper.
Sure.
But to get back to the question I asked you, I would just say that I completely agree with you. Me as a writer, if I was Rainbow Rowell, I would tell Marvel, you know what? You do whatever the fuck you want with your politics of the start and renumber 1, the way you do your sales, your bullshit. I'm telling my story the way I'm telling it. I don't care if you call it issue 1, issue 16, issue butthole number 5. I'm still going to continue to write my story as it's not over yet.
Uh-huh.
I agree. I mean, I was not trying to get you to say something different.
No. I understand that. Yeah, and I think this was, it just was badass, dude. This was a really good. What up, Phil? Thank you for subscribing. Oh, I forgot we had that as a notification.
Oh,
hell yeah! Yeah, it was good. It was
heroic. They did that with the Shang-Chi. They did the opposite. They actually did the opposite with the Shang-Chi novels, or with graphic trades. They kept renumbering it every 5 issues back to a number 1.
Ugh.
But the trade paperbacks are volumes 1, 2, 3, and in volume 3 you have the first 5 issues of his last run, and then volume 1 is the next issues of the same volume, because they went 1, 2, 3, then back to 1 again, because they changed it to Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. Literally, who's I can't remember the writer of that last run of Shang-Chi, but he has like a 20 issue run, and he's broken up into 3 volumes, 3 renumberings, I should say.
Yeah,
very dumb. Very, very dumb.
This has been, I'm gonna say that Rainbow's this run by Rainbow is the closest thing that I've read from Marvel that has felt. It feels like when I read manga. I feel like when I read manga, it just has this really badass ebbs and flow. It really pulls and pushes the reader to experience emotion. And you're like, will they, won't they? Or will this happen, or won't this? Oh, I got to find out what happens next. And I feel like a lot of other Marvel books kind of struggle in that aspect. And I don't think that's their fault. I think it's just the story that they're telling doesn't really lend itself to that kind of dynamic. But I think with She-Hulk and Rainbow and the team, they have done a phenomenal job of just making you want it in the storyline, and keeping you on the edge of your seat, whether it's and it spans across all of the different themes within the book, whether it's the slice of life, the superheroing, the lawyer, or the the love interest story. It hits it on all those phases. And I think a lot of other books don't do that, and they don't have to do that. But it's fun when a book like this, when it happens like that. And I think manga does that really well, where it's dealing with a bunch, certain books are dealing with a bunch of different subject matters, but they're hitting them on all different issues. So when the volume that you read ends, you're like, well, got to wait 3 months for the next volume to come out so that I can go pick it up and read it. And that's the same thing that I think She-Hulk is doing. So it's kick-ass. Let's see. Hope it actually comes and doesn't stop before they collect it, completing it again. Heroic, what up? I've started putting legacy number labels on all of my bags. I can't follow this anymore.
It's good.
The variant cover are among my favorite of the year. I did pick up the variant cover for this issue, and I love it. But I love the cover A's too. The cover A's are so good. Jim and art on the covers are so good. They were the highlight on display of my books every time a new issue came out. Could not agree with you more. She-Hulk number 15 is my pick of the week. All right, Ultimate Invasion issue number 2.
Oh, we're not doing the one before that.
What is the one before that? No, I have it. I just have it at the back end like we kind of used to. Just fucking chill, dude. Oh my god.
I just was already ready for that one.
Do you want me to move to that book so you can talk about it?
Just do this one. Let's just do it.
Just do it.
Let's get it over with.
Legally can't say that when I'm wearing an Adidas jersey. Anyway, Ultimate Invasion issue number 2. I was kind of bored.
We just did this with Avengers Assemble. With this cool other Elseworlds, and look how Captain Americas we have, and Wasps, and boo, 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 boo. Oh my god, we melted them. I was so frustrated by this. I am officially after this issue. Okay, this issue wasn't that bad, but after this issue, I'm officially dropping Hickman down a peg on where he sits on my list, because he was so high up because of Secret Wars. Because I love Secret Wars so much, it's so good. But I hadn't read his other stuff. And now, as I keep reading his stuff, and Hawksbox, right? Like, it's just so great. But like, dude couldn't even keep the X Office in line. Wasn't a strong enough writer and a strong enough to keep the X Office in line. This Avengers run that I'm reading is not what everyone cracked it up to be. And then now we're doing this again, and I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, what's the purpose? We just did the Elseworlds. Avengers from Otherworld stuff.
Whoa, chill. Just chill, okay? Not that I don't disagree with you. Not that I don't. I'm just gonna turn it down, the emotional part of it down.
That's all I live off of, is the emotions.
I feel like, I'm sorry. I just feel I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, we've done this. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't feel like Hickman's heart is in it.
It feels like he had a contract to do one more series with Marvel, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "Well, I was kind of thinking about doing this Ultimate shit." And they're like, "Can you get it done in like 4 issues, and then we don't have to talk about it anymore?" And he's like,
well, but that's not the case either, because apparently there's going to be like Ultimate issues after this. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if that is a byproduct of me not reading the original Ultimates stuff from Hickman. I did feel like issue 1, where, when the Maker, melded everybody together, I thought that was cool. This one, again, I apologize last. I felt like this was an issue 2 slump hardcore. Yes. Like, it didn't. I think the highlight for me was seeing Liliana and Colossus and Omega Red showing up. Like, I was like, that's cool. And then it was like, whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that this Ultimate Invasion thing is slapping really hard for people that are diehard Hickman fans, which I can't say I wasn't. I am still, but I kind of agree that, like, it just felt Just me, yeah. I don't know. I was kind of bored with it. It didn't slap as much as issue 2, and it just felt kind of meh. I read a lot of the Ultimate Comic runs, but only started with Spider-Man. Honestly, okay. Stuck with Spider-Man. Sorry, there's a little heart for some reason on my.
Oh.
I don't get it. It's like built into the thing. I don't know. I just didn't. I'm sorry.
So right. Hold on before we go. I just kind of want to make sure I understood. This whole issue is we're in the 6160 universe, right?
I don't know.
And this is the universe that the maker was influencing at the end of the first issue, right? Where he stops the spider from biting Spider-Man, and he stops the Fantastic Four from getting irradiated and stuff like that. So this is like this is his curated universe, and we spent a lot of time here. So I will be very disappointed if this doesn't stay the new universe, because we've already put a lot of time into it. We've seen the silly Monk Hulk thing and the Rasputins and a few mutants, stuff like that. Okay. I don't know. Am I interested in a universe without the Fantastic Four? A Marvel universe without them? No, I don't think that I am. Regardless of if they don't play big roles or not. I am very fond of a universe without a Captain America, without a Steve Rogers Captain America. That I'm all about. But I don't know. I didn't have a lot of fun with this one.
I didn't either. And the tension is building. It is palpable. Let's move.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Fall of X, number 1, X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023. Go ahead.
Do Ex Machina is all I have to say about this issue.
Okay.
Actually, I have a lot more to say about it, but
let's say it.
Well, I mean it's just like, so a lot of stuff happens here. I think some of the stuff happens is pretty cool. I think some of it is so charged that I think a lot of people hated it because they didn't want it to happen, but it made the impact. So when we go, hey, here's the new X-Men team, fucking bloody smash. Like, at first I was like, come on, like, that's just disrespectful. But then I was like, no, that really does leave the impact that we needed, I think. But like, one of the things that I think Last is so upset about that I do agree with here is that we're doing the same thing. And it's hard because there's no such thing as a power scale in Marvel. You have to realize that. And it's so hard. Most people want to say, no, this person can't beat that person. And there's no such thing. At any given, Squirrel Girl does beat Galactus in her book, right? Like, there's no such thing as a power scale. At any given moment, the only thing that stops one character from beating the next is the writer that's typing the letters. Right. And so the same thing happens with plot points, though. And when you do that, it's literally a literary device called Deus Ex Machina, where just by the hand of God, we're just going to do this. Oh, Orcus. Oh, all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, can make the portal stop. How? Horticulture. Yeah, like we've talked one sentence about them. The Blightswell. Yes, I understand that we did mention that, but like barely. And that was back in the Hickman days. You trying to tell me that was planned out that far? It wasn't. All of these things, all of the way that Orcus won, were just fantastical things that we pulled out of nowhere. Just said, "Oh, yep, now we can do this. Now we're great, and we can magically. We've been thinking this the whole time, and we've been plotting in the background. We totally won." And the impact was lost on.
So I think what you said is, I would say 90 to 95% yes.
Okay.
Because they have, and I watched a Comic Book Herald talk about this like a week before it even came out, because he wasn't going to be live for when this came out because he was going to be out on vacation. He essentially said that the fall of X has already happened. It has happened. We've seen it happening slowly all the way up to this. Okay. Orcus in many issues and little issues here and there. Oh, we've fucked with the drugs. Oh, we've done this. Oh, we've done that. Oh, the four Sinisters have been secretly plotting this whole downfall since the beginning. Right? It's been happening. The fall of X has happened before the gala even started. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why, also, not to say that what you're saying isn't why it wasn't impactful for you, but I think those other subplots that happened that were so kind of like meh, and then they're mentioned in this book, made the fall initially, getting to this point, incredibly uneventful. Right? We kind of, and I said it in New Comic Day, we just get it over with already. Like, I'm kind of bored. That's how I went going into this book. And I also think when the Gala book comes out almost, 2.5 months after the New Comic Book Day video or New Comic Book Day book came out, with all the things that lined up to what's going to happen in this book, and then you're like, if you didn't read Free Comic Book Day, this is why this, like, okay, but that's so long ago, and we've had so many other books come out that have had more consequence leading up to this. So, like, the amount of, like, you have to remember what happened to this point is incredibly discouraging. There's my negative bit. Putting that aside.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have a lot of positives to this.
Positives. So. Everyone talking about when the bodies hit the floor music coming on when Nebron comes. Fuck yes.
Joe, that's
okay, like 100% yes. So one more negative, and then we'll get into all the positives. And last, I think every bit of criticism that you're saying is 100%. I think you're on. And I get that, because I'm right there with you when it comes to, like, still being loyal to Hickman and what he's set up, and still being incredibly frustrated at the fact that we're still not there, and we never will be. The Miss Marvel stuff, I am in support of it. I am ready for it. I'm gonna read it when it comes out. I'm very excited for it. But Jesus Christ, did it not feel incredibly rushed and crammed in this part of the book? Like, it was just like, get in there, just stuff it in there, and this. It works. That was not cool. And I feel it's doing a disservice to Kamala. It's doing a disservice to just give her a proper, it just feels rushed. It just feels rushed. And I want her due. I want her to get every bit of respect as to being a mutant. And this, it's like, what are my powers? I don't know. You have the gene because you got through the gate and we were able to resurrect you. Okay. Like, it's just like, bleh. So, okay. Put that aside.
Hold on. I want to add one tiny thing to that.
Okay.
Because after the book is over, we get Xavier on the beach, right?
Yep.
And we get all of X. And then you turn the page, and it's like, and don't forget, Miss Marvel, our new book. It's the mutant. She's cool. She's powerful. She's funky. Here we go. It's Miss Marvel.
Yay!
And I'm like, what the fuck? That's not the tone that we're setting for Fall of X at all. Like, how are we just going to throw that in there and just be like, oh, by the way, here's the new cutesy mutant book? Like, no. I hated it. I thought it was just chill. Just chill on your marketing for like 1 second. We know there's a new Marvel book coming out, but
yeah.
we don't need that.
What is FR, Jim? What does that mean? Is that just lingo?
For real? For
real. Sorry.
For real?
I'm old.
Yeah.
Okay, positives. I told this to Nate before he ever read it. It was like the first book I read on Wednesday, and I literally sent you like a holy shit text, and you were like, and I'm like, no, and then I called you and I was like, listen, man, we have been incredibly down with the X books. I think me and Nate both have reluctantly been in this like almost kind of in denial, but we're still letting out these like true feelings kind of seep out here and there. And I was 100% prepared to just shit all over this book. Just be like, I'm done with the X-Men. It's over. They did their thing. And fall of the Hellfire Gala 2023 did something that I have not felt in a very long time with the X-Line and with Hickman, to be quite honest. and that is that I feel something for these characters again. And I knew they were going to lose. We all knew that shit was going to go down in this book, that they were going to lose, big. And I think Gary Jerry did a fantastic job, put the Miss Marvel stuff aside, did a really good job of reconnecting a majority of us, I'm not going to include Last in there, back to having some kind of semblance of emotion for these characters. I was angry when this ended. I was upset for the X-Men. I was upset for Krakoa and what we're losing. I was fucking upset for Xavier, and Nate has converted me to being Nate. Hold on. Nate has converted me to being that Xavier's a piece of shit. But I still felt for the dude when he's on his island, knowing full well he sent the entire population of mutants through a psychic meat grinder and killed all the mutants. Now, is that true? Probably not. But it just, like, this entire book made me feel something that I just haven't had. I have not felt this energetic towards the X-Men since the fall and since House and Powers. You know, when we both read House and Powers, we were like, God damn, like, we're doing something here. There's twists and turns and there's emotion and fuck yeah. And then steadily it just kind of was here for a little bit and then it just started slowly declining. And I just, again, in my opinion, this book felt like it just ramped it up to 11 and we just shot up. And now we've got all these new dynamics of a very small, pared down group of mutants that have to succeed. They have to win in order for mutants to really exist within the Marvel comic book universe. Hell yes. When I read this, right, and saw what happened to Emma, then she's over here in Iron Man after the gala, and she goes through what she goes through with what she goes through in Iron Man. I'm like, God damn it, Gary Jerry. What are you doing, my guy? Like, you're hitting it on all cylinders. So for me, I was incredibly impressed. I was happy that I was mad. I was happy that I felt emotion for these characters again and that there was consequence. And that I don't want Krakoa to go away. I don't want the dream to be dead, but it's gone. And we got to...
It ain't gone.
Well...
They didn't even attack Krakoa.
What I'm saying is the movers and shakers of Krakoa, of the island itself, of the nation state, they have to figure out how to
even fucking kill Cyclops. I'm still so upset about that.
Okay, well, that's your own thing.
Of all of them, of all the mutants to die, they didn't kill Cyclops.
Can we just all right? Let's just put that away. Can we talk about how one of the most, in my eyes, one of the most underrated and unconsequential mutant in Firestar?
No.
She gets the you're the mole, you're the one that takes the fall, and you're essentially the key to success in this entire plan. I thought that was brilliant. And I loved her interaction with Jean as Jean is dying. I don't know, man. I just had a lot of fun with it, even with its inconsistencies and with its rushness. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it.
I would say overall, all complaints, all positives. I would still say overall it was a better book than for sure.
Better book than what?
Better book than it was a positive book. I would give it a positive rating.
Right. And we can win, and I think it's safe to assume that we both went into it going like, oh god, here we go. You know? And I think a lot of people in chat, even if you don't want to admit it, kind of had the same feeling. Like, this could be it. This could be, if they don't do this properly, I could be done. And this comment of the Red Gala, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I would say too, one thing that I think is maybe why it's not sitting as well with me as others, is I don't have the same sentiment that a lot of you have, and that's that Krakoa has made life so much easier for the mutants, and they've been the gods living on high, and they're just all peachy keen. They've been looking down on us, and they deserve an L. I just haven't gotten that feeling, really. I don't know why. Maybe because we're just dealing with the problems of Krakoa, and not so much of like the everyday of like the mutants that kind of just get to live their busy lives. But I don't know. I don't know that I was ready for it to all just like implode. The way it happened was great. I don't remember who said it earlier. Someone said it felt like a Donny Cates What If. Like, love it. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was like that a lot.
It's almost like Gary Jerry called Donnie. It was like, how would you do this? Oh, okay, cool.
Right. I don't know. I'm glad that like Krakoa itself isn't just gone completely. I'm glad that we're not like. I would have been too disinterested in a total redo. Number one, we're starting. I knew that's where we weren't exactly going, but if it had been close enough to a we got to redo everything. This was just enough bad that I'll be like, okay. Let's see how X-Men 25 goes next week.
And I think it's going to be really cool because we get Shadowcat. We get
Shadowcat. Like we don't. It's not Kitty Pryde. It's not Kate. It's like Shadowcat.
Well, and the cover's fucking cool, dude. She's literally putting two swords through a Orcus dude's head. Like I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Like I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it, but last I think you were 100% on and spot on with a lot of things that you're saying. Now he's got to go potty break.
No, my dog's barking.
The dog's barking. Anyway, Eric, I think you're spot on with it too. I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I think that what happened in this book was so monumental for every side of the argument, whether you were happy about it or you loved it. I think that's what makes this comic so good, is that we're having this discussion, and I think that's what makes it so valuable, that we're able to discuss it on the pros and cons of the book, and the fact that there are so many of you that just loved it, and then there's some of you that are just like, I'm still frustrated. And I think that's a valid thing to say when you've got this book that is being so driven as the core of the identity of what we're about to do for the next year. It's crazy. Last you say, I wish we got the OG kind of Xavier for a few years, so this scene hit harder. We never saw Xavier go through the decline or moral side. Also, I wanted Magneto to go through the same thing as the mains. I agree with that. The attack on the treehouse wasn't shown. I think that was in Free Comic Book Day. Calvin, never. Mother Righteous Ball is the most powerful thing in the Marvel Universe. I love how Wolverine went berserk. That was fucking killer. I love that. We will never forget about the Hellfire Gala of X. No, I think that's a genuine comment right there. I think that's a valid response. Calvin, I hate seeing mutants lose, but I get the need for the storytelling purposes, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. I think that's exactly that. If there was one comment that kind of sums up my exact, I was frustrated. I was like, no, I don't want them to lose, even though I knew they were going to lose.
I don't like mutants losing. So.
Right. And so I think Gary Jerry did a great job of conveying that. And then just like immediately we're all like, revenge, let's go. How are we going to hit? Let's get this shit going, because it can't be that easy. Let's go. So they need to dial the Miss Marvel attention down. I want it to be good. Just stop fucking rushing it. Give her due the right way. All right, dude. Darth Vader, issue number 4, black, white, and red.
I didn't even have that much to say about it.
Oh, well, you got so mad.
Well, because you know how like autistic people, whenever they can't deal with change, when they have expectations.
Well,
it's kind of like that, and I had expectations, and that's how I thought things were going to be.
To be fair, Nate, you were not here when I did the setup for New Comic Book Day, so like,
that's not my fault.
Okay, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying you would have known the order if you'd been here. What'd you think?
I thought it was bad, good, forgettable.
I agree.
First story was bad. The ending to Jason Aaron's run I thought was bad. It was literally just You can't beat me. I win. Okay, that's
That
it.
was like every story in this book.
No, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. I think it. Okay, the ending is what was bad. This story was not bad.
Okay.
But literally, it felt like, why didn't you just tack these 3-4 pages into the end of the other story? Like, just if it had ended in the other parts, it probably would have been. But it was literally like 4 pages that didn't need to be in this book. Now, the Steve Orlando story, I thought was really great. I thought it was very neat. Yes.
Yeah, that was dope.
I thought that was really cool. So in the Steve Orlando one, which the artist was really good too, Paul Davidson. I really liked his art as well. Basically, Darth Vader goes to patrol a planet to see if it's inhabited or not. And after he does, he has to go into quarantine, and he goes back in the quarantine vat, where he's like just like floating in there and got all the shit hooked up to him.
Yep.
Because he still has biologics, right? He's still human in some way, and so they have to check to make sure that he doesn't have any still got a brain. Got to make sure that he doesn't have any contaminants. Well, it turns out he does. And what it does is it causes you to hallucinate. So he literally hallucinates a battle with basically the like booger that's in his brain that's like a parasite.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing. Like, this art is really badass. Like, the way they portrayed the parasite was really cool. Yeah. The fight scenes were really cool. The way they utilized the red. I just thought it was a very inventive and creative and fresh way to do the same story, which is essentially what we're doing with this.
Yep.
The last story was him going back to Hoth, and it was a totally story. Don't think it was worth it this time.
No, and I found it kind of like discrediting to the character. Like, I don't think Vader's that reckless. No. I don't think him as a character is that reckless, and he doesn't have to go do that to prove a point. Like, I was just like,
it was literally him going to Hoth. He gets overwhelmed by like the snow yetis and almost dies, and then some general in an Imperial ship finds him and saves him, and he's like, "Oh, weren't you glad that we were here to save you?" And Darth Vader and then crushes his neck. That's it.
Yeah, I think if this story had been told, as him being Vader for the first time, like he's still kind of figuring out his shit, then that kind of makes more sense. But like after Empire Strikes Back, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
No sense. He's a fucking master, dude.
Well, especially the way the comics have made him.
All right, here's our last book of the night. Our only other independent of the night, and I'm just gonna hit it because I'm almost certain that
That's Nate's pick of the week.
This is Nate's pick of the week.
This is my pick of the week. And if anyone is new to the show or has not been paying attention and doesn't realize that I'm Tinian Homer, the reason is because he's better than everyone.
What's better? Like, what's like? There's Homer, and then what's after that? Like,
well, that's when you start an actual relationship with the person.
So when are you doing that?
I'm hoping like in the fall when I can get up to New York when he's done with the. Right now he's doing the Comic-Con circuits. Like he was in San Diego, then I think he's going to like Chicago or something. So I gotta wait for him to finish that up.
Okay.
Then I gotta go find him in Brooklyn and be like, "Yo, bro."
And you bought a ring, right, and everything.
I'm not into marriage. Not into that thing.
Promise ring, whatever.
So, you done?
Yeah.
So, in this book, we are continuing. So, I don't. We haven't talked about this in a while. I even think this issue. Just to give you the shortest recap, this is a book about a group of teenagers who find a way into the dark web that's could possibly be to the internet on another dimension, and it basically will take over control of your mind, freak you the fuck out, show you the worst images you've ever seen in your life, and start to literally transform you in some way. Like you start digitally skitzing out. But there's something on the other side that will drive you mad and make you crazy, go kill people on purpose. So in the last issue, there was one of the girlfriend of one of the main characters was trying to investigate this for a podcast, and she gets caught up. But luckily, they were able to save her, and the way that they are able to save her is like basically reverse clockwork oranging her. They like pry her eyes open and put headphones on her and like blast really loud, crazy music, but then show her really awesome images of like nature and flowers and people walking through meadows and stuff that like teenagers would think of to like bring people back. Honestly, the biggest thing about this book is the entire time we've seen the perspective of the kids as adults, they're getting back together again to try to figure out how to stop this, and between these two detectives that are investigating, and then of course the girl that's on the cover that's always killing people is always in the background killing people. Well, in this book, she ends up,
Is she real?
She is real. As a matter of fact, in the last page, we find out that somehow she is the sister of the main character that's trying to save everybody. And that throws a huge, huge, huge twist into this whole plot, because we don't know, like, she's literally been the bad guy from the get-go. And now we're saying she's the sister, and she's in the room with her gun, just like, yo, what's up? So the plot thickens in a very, very, very big way. Honestly, why this got my pick of the week, though, the story was good. The story was great, but the art in this was fantastic. And I'm not going to be able to show you. It'll be really hard to tell because it's pretty dark. But as the girl is getting unmind fucked, we see the things that are like being leached out of her, and it's like just really trippy and bizarre. You probably won't be able to see the details as much, but I don't know. It's just really great. It's really creepy and bizarre and detailed. It's just good horror. It's good horror, but it's also got a really fun, not a slice of life, but like a interpersonal relationships. It tells really good stories of interpersonal relationships.
Interesting.
It's just Tinian doing what Tinian does, and that's writing. I don't know, I like it. To me, this is a book. If you're a horror fan, if you're doing Silver Coin, if you're doing Something's Killing Children, Swan Song, Ice Cream, this is probably this. I couldn't imagine you're skipping this book.
Yeah. It's too intense for me. It's just a little too intense for me.
Not intense. John said top 3 book of the week.
Yeah, it's good. It's your pick of the week.
John says the reveal of the naked lady. There is a lot of naked ladies in this one.
Yeah, it's just
It's so far it is unnecessary. I'm not quite sure where we're going.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for issue 142 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. Thank you to everyone that watched this live with us here, and obviously thank you to everyone that's watching this as a past episode. We appreciate it very much. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated as we move along to 950 subscribers. We can't do that without you. We will have a new comic book day video for you for the week of August 2nd. Jesus Christ. July just flew by. It's a little bit of a smaller week, but should be entertaining, especially with the gala have happened and we've got a couple X books coming out, so we'll see how it goes. Make sure to tune in for that, and then we'll see you guys again this Sunday, where we'll do another live episode with all those books and more. It's been super fun. I don't know, will I throw in a Marvel Snap stream somewhere here and there? I don't know. I mean, the season actually is going on for an extra week, so it might be fun to kind of. Is there a new card that comes out this week?
There's a new card every week, man. New card every week.
I wonder what it's gonna be.
I don't know.
I've gotten all of them. I don't know what it's not Legion, so Legion's Legion.
Maybe there's not a new.
Who would it be? It's gonna be a mutant, if anything. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe not. But super fun, guys. Appreciate every single one of you, and we'll catch you guys later on this week. If any breaking comic book news happens, don't worry, don't fret. We will get something out there about it. We'll get it done. But we'll catch you guys on the next one. As always, fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. Later. End button. Where's the end button? Outro.
End
bye.
button. Push the end.
Later, guys. 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Calvin, I agree. Let's
Love
get it done. Let's get it done. I want to get rid of this thing. This slab has been sitting on my desk for too long. I want to get rid of it. Let's go.